Hello guys, welcome here to another video, and I'll be talking about 2020 so far, right? We only been in 2020 for 4 months, and I think that I got lots of things to say, but I just gonna put like a short recap video, of like why 2020 is the craziest year ever and is the worst year ever. On top of that, right? Now I'm just talking about this 2020 thing again, right? And I know that we're not nowhere near the end of 2020, and just like crazy things just like happened like on and off, and it just went like hard, right? And it has like 2020 is, in my opinion, it's been a destruction year, right? It's a year of destruction. And I thought like 2019, like people think like 2019 is gonna be the worst year ever, but then we just look like 2019 is like nothing comparing like to 2020, right? And why the world I live in is so like crazy and just not realistic. And I thought this is just a dream, but it turned out to be actually true in reality, right? I mean, none of this is just like a made up story or exaggeration. None of this is like fake. This is all real, and it just drives me nuts. And I'm gonna go act crazy, go insane, right? This 2020 is just so crazy, man. Like, I think this is probably, I think 2020 is gonna be the biggest change of my life so far as of this year, right? It's gonna be the biggest change, to be honest with you, right? I mean, let's go over real quick of what happened in 2020, right? I mean, in 2020, first of all, I lost the Nissan key, which cost me like $300, But then it did make video of me, having bad start, of 2020, like always, like every other year, having bad beginning. And then I get hired as a job, and then a few months later I get laid off because of this disease, and I don't want to say it. But I'm not gonna explain you like why I'm not gonna say disease, because because of this pandemic going on. That's what I'm saying. That's why I got laid off. And third of all, why 2020 has been a crazy year, because I just sub a 5 minute mile, by only like by a spare of like 1 second at least. And 2020 is it's also because of this disease, and that's just like destroying the earth right now, destroying humanity. But somehow people say that we'll keep surviving this, but I don't know like how long this pandemic is gonna go on, right? Just a lots of so what happened is that during this pandemic, like this like certain little disease, that just came out of nowhere and just like changes everyone's life. People's been losing jobs, like people's been suffering 2020s because of this, right? And then like a lots of like isolation is happening, right? Lots of like social distance, you have to wear a mask, when you go outside. And this disease has been a very big killer of 2020, right? I mean, we haven't finished like the other 8 months of 2020. I think that more things are still gonna happen. Why 2020 could be dragging on, to be a really bad year, right? I mean, just talk about, like my running, And another thing is that like why 2020 is also a crazy year, because I got LASIK too, right? So I'm not wearing glasses anymore. And also I'm also graduating from, colleges, as a finally, because I've been studying, 4 years in the Ohlone. Let me think of another crazy thing that just happened to me. And I think those three big things that just, I think like 4 or 5 big things that possibly happened to me so far this year. It's like getting LASIK, getting job, get laid off, and then just like sub 5 minute miles just out of nowhere, right? And how fast is subbing 5 minute mile? Like, I don't need to explain it again. It's just like it's just right under the 19-second mark, for just 100 meters, right? I mean, you run 19 seconds for 100 meters. It seemed not to be that fast, but when you drag on to a mile, then it's gonna get super tiring. And so, you know, like not every single day I'm gonna sub a 5 minute mile, no way. But I just got recently a little slow because I'm just trying out for long distance since, you know, like since I just deplete my body again. And I did not know that how hard is subbing a 5 minute mile, right? I mean, 2020, my fastest mile time was at 4:59, 4:58, and then I did not know that I've been running, you know, this certain pace for like a very long distance. Like I did not know like I can run, you know, very fast for long distance as well, you know. Just by breaking the 5 minute barrier, like it just like got my motivation, you know, just skyrocketing and like go and accomplish more goals even if I'm struggling. You know, even though if I'm struggling, you know, like to hold that speed, right? I mean, this 2020 is insane, and I start running like crazy like in 2020, just like what happened in 2012 or 2018, right? Yeah, you know, like every few years, you know, crazy things and just big things just like happen again and again, like causing you know the problem or you know or humans limit just to like grow in an exponential rate, and this is what drives me nuts, man. So I'll tell you like how fast you know I run for a certain distance, you know, after you know subbing a 4 minute mile, right? I cannot believe that I run 10 miles, you know, at about like a 6:20 pace, you know, just by subbing, you know, a 5 minute mile, right? Subbing, cause now you know like I got used to running long distance, and then my body get used to it, so it just shave off little second by second every single you know long distance mile by. But then when it gets to like mile 20 or you know over mile 20, then that's where you know I hit the wall, and that's where things get a lot slower. You know them when I run every time on the track and stuff like my best speed usually goes around like 10 to like around like maybe like 10K to like 20K, and after you know like 12 miles in, my body starts you know like getting close to the actual hitting the wall, right? But to be honest, my fastest 10 mile as I record this video is like 64 something minutes, and yeah, like I said, that's like a 620 to 625 pace, and then for 15 miles I run like exactly at a sub 3 hour marathon pace, but I assume that I did not run at my best, so that's why you know I run like 650 you know minutes per mile you know for 15 miles, right? And I know that after when I sub a 5 minute mile, you know, my body gets kind of tired and like a little wear out. And you've been asking me like, why you're not making a video of subbing 5 minute mile? Sorry to say this, man, but you're gonna have to wait a few more months because I just gotta still recover from my long runs, and I gotta have to rebuild myself to get stronger. And you look like you won't see into the end of 2020. I'd say like maybe like around September to you know December. The reason why I'm not gonna sub a 5 minute mile, the, the next time I'll sub 5 minute mile will be in like September instead of April, right? That I mean for the second time is because first of all because of bad weather, you know, because you know that around like June or July, you know, I say starting like May, like yeah, the weather starts getting warmer and I start slow down, right? And then when my body gets used to hot heat weather, then it's gonna go like, you know that every time when it gets to September of the year, then this is where my speed goes crazy, right? In running, it's gonna go crazy, man. And then you know, then you never know what happened in December. Like I'm gonna go as fast as like a like really fast, right? I mean, by subbing a 5 minute mile, I tell you how fast I run for a certain distance. So for like 10K run, I run like about 37 and a half minutes. For 10 miles, 64 minutes, and for 15 miles, it's like right around you know the 100 minute mark, right? I mean, the reason why I ran a 650 pace for 15 miles, and I can estimate like how fast I run, you know, a mile instead of you know running 15 miles on that day. So the day that I run 15 miles for 650 pace, I'll probably run like around like maybe 506 or 507 minute mile, right? I mean, if it was a sub 5 minute mile, then I probably would have ran you know fast 640 pace or faster you know for 15 miles. I'm like, what is so special about this? Yeah, the craziest part is that you know that my running stamina or my running improvement in 2020 is like it's like way much better than like my laziest run like a few years ago. I talk about like around 2014, 2015, right? That my worst, my running time was like it was really bad. Like my worst mile time used to be like I don't know 6:20 or 6:30. I get around like my worst mile time to be honest is like 6:20. Like that was like back in high school and I was like the same size. I'm assuming like my height and I haven't like grown that much. Since a few years ago, right? My body hasn't changed that much except I just lost weight. That's the only biggest difference, right? So like a few years ago, I just have lack of motivation and didn't run well. That I only get like around 6:20 pace, and then and then 5 years later, I realized that I can run that same pace for like 10 miles now, and still will get very tired at the end, right? I mean, this is why 2020 is driving me nuts. You don't get what I'm saying. Like, you're running like 10 times longer than before. I'm like, people's like, oh my goodness. Like, that running is hard for a lot of people, right? I mean, gaining, running, 2 times longer than your actual, worst running is pretty much a big improvement, right? But then by just increase that by 10 times in just like less than 5 years, it's like, that's too crazy, man. And then my worst, 1.5 mile run, or you can call it, where I ran it in Irvington, in Irvington High School, is that I got like a 10-minute sophomore boom. My worst time was like over 10 minutes. It was like a 10:02 or 10:04, pretty sure, right? But then, notice that is the same. My average pace for 1.5 mile or the worst time that I ever got, it's like the same as like for 15 miles, right? Yeah, you take the 15 divided by 1.5, that turns out still to be 10 times longer, right? I mean, I know that I honestly could have run faster than, a 6-bit pace or 103 minutes, for 15 miles, but I just feel like I didn't try because of the weather, and plus, my body just burns up very fast that I don't have enough energy, to hold, the pace, right? So a 4:58 miles like equal to like a 6:40 or faster, for 15 miles. Since I'm, getting, hang of it of, running long distance. Or you call it 100 minute for 15 miles, right? About 100 minute, 101 minute. So instead of running a 6:40 pace for like 1.5 mile, but now, it's dragging on to 15 miles. And could probably, and I could possibly sub, a 7-minute pace, for 20 miles if it was, a race day or something like this. But I've talked about a few years ago, like I can only run like a 14-minute, for just 2 miles, but now, it's 140, for possibly 20 miles. Yeah, but all I know is that when it comes to running, like it looks like I run a lot faster than before. Even with that wear stuff, I still like beat my worst running speed like easily, right? I mean, all I know that I definitely run at least 8 times longer before, but then probably no more than than 10 times longer, right? That's how much my running stamina has improved, and this is just the beginning of 2020, right? The only thing that would drive me the nut the most is that if I can run, 10 miles in under 1 hour or just somehow sub a 3-hour marathon, I think the biggest accomplishment that I probably improved in running is that if I can run 10 miles in under 1 hour, which is like a 6-minute pace for like 10 miles, and I don't think that's not gonna happen in 2020, because that's just gonna be really hard. And yeah, just to be honest with you, but subbing a 3-hour marathon for 2020 may possibly happen, but might not happen. Or if it doesn't happen this year, then it could happen in 2021, right? I mean, from every year, things are only gonna get crazier, and I don't like living, through next year, because when it gets too crazy, like I might go psychopath, and I might act and do like a lot of dumb stuff, right? Yeah, that's all I got to say is this video, only pulling out like the few main reasons, like why 2020 is like very crazy for me, right? Craziest year as of so far, right? I mean, I look back in 2015 and saying that, oh, this year must be the craziest years of my life. But now, I gone to like 5 more years, after 2015 just ended, and it got like things has totally changed, man. Yeah, and I knew like this is gonna happen, right? But I didn't know it's gonna be like way more than I expected, right? I thought that I'll probably run only like twice as long as 2015, but not even like double my improvement in running, but not even like 5 times, but it has to be like something like 10 times or maybe even close to 10, right? But yeah, man, this is very shocking, and this is like very surprised me, right? I mean, 2020 also did kind of surprise everyone and me too, right? Because we didn't expect this type of thing to happen, right? I mean, all the sport things, everything's canceled, right? I mean, I know that I love watching NBA, but I just see that, Kobe Bryant passed away and all this stuff, and all this trash thing happened, and we supposed to be watching the NBA playoff as of right now, right? But then, the facility just will open tomorrow as I record this video, so I don't know what else to say, but nothing else much to say. So if you want me to make more video about 2020, just comment below, and comment below like what the part I'm also missing out too. But man, I do not want to aim forward to 2020 because things are gonna get very scary and very like crazy, and I just like, man, you just never know what happened. Whatever. Bye bye.